Understanding whether an employee is classified as exempt or non-exempt is one of the most important and commonly misunderstood areas of employment law. Incorrect classification can expose employers to overtime liability, penalties, audits, and even class action lawsuits. In this video, we'll explain what exempt and non-exempt mean, how the classification tests work, and why getting it right is essential for compliance and employee trust. The terms exempt and non-exempt primarily refer to whether an employee is exempt from overtime pay and certain wage and hour protections under laws like the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, and applicable state laws. Non-exempt employees are entitled to overtime pay when they work more than the legally allowed hours. Exempt employees, on the other hand, are not eligible for overtime, but only if very specific legal criteria are met. Non-exempt employees must be paid at least minimum wage and are entitled to overtime pay, typically 1.5 times their regular rate for hours worked over 40 in a work week, or more under state law. Key characteristics of non-exempt employees include eligibility for overtime pay, payment on an hourly basis, or sometimes on a salary basis, required time tracking of all hours worked, protection under most wage and hour laws. Common non-exempt roles include customer service representatives, administrative staff, retail employees, warehouse workers, technicians, and many support positions. It's important to note that being paid a salary does not automatically make someone exempt. Time tracking is still required for non-exempt salaried employees. Exempt employees are not entitled to overtime pay, but only if they meet strict legal requirements. Exempt employees generally are paid on a salary basis, earn at least the minimum salary threshold required by law, perform specific job duties defined by exemption categories, are excluded from overtime requirements. Typical exempt roles include executives, managers, certain administrative leaders, licensed professionals like attorneys and doctors, and some specialized IT professionals. Titles alone do not determine exemption. Job duties and pay structure do. To classify an employee as exempt, all 3 legal tests must be met. First, the salary basis test. The employee must receive a fixed salary that does not fluctuate based on hours worked or quality of work. Second, the salary level test. The employee must earn at least the minimum salary required by law. This threshold can change over time and may differ under state laws. Third, the duties test. The employee's primary job duties must fall into an exempt category, such as executive, administrative, professional, certain computer-related roles, or outside sales. Failing any one of these tests means the employee must be classified as non-exempt. Misclassification is one of the most common employment law violations. Legal consequences may include back pay for unpaid overtime, penalties and interest, government audits, costly class action lawsuits. From an HR strategy standpoint, correct classification helps control labor costs, set clear expectations around work hours, and support workforce planning. From an employee relations perspective, misclassification can lead to wage dissatisfaction, loss of trust, complaints, and legal claims. Transparency and fairness in classification support engagement and retention. Some frequent mistakes employers make include assuming salaried employees are automatically exempt, assigning managerial titles without managerial duties, failing to update classifications after job changes, ignoring state-specific labor laws, not tracking hours for non-exempt salaried employees. Best practices include conducting regular classification audits, reviewing actual job duties instead of titles, staying current on labor law changes, training managers on overtime rules, and clearly documenting classification decisions. Understanding exempt versus non-exempt classification isn't just about compliance. It's about building a fair, transparent, and sustainable workplace. If you're unsure whether your employees are classified correctly, now is the time to review before a problem arises. At KPHR, we help California businesses navigate complex HR and compliance requirements with confidence. Visit kphr.com for more.